baie goeie oorwinning vanaand. Ek sien jy het gehou by jou strategie om die ouens nie te vinnig te vervang met die ouens op die bank nie. Dit het baie goed gewerk. En ja, en 'n paar ouens wat 'n merk gemaak het is Bernard van der Linde en Jacobs baie goeie wedstryd gehad.
Ja.
Ja.
Ja, baie dankie. Ja, ek dink ons is nou in 'n goeie posisie. Almal het gepraat oor die B-span. Ja, dit is goeie motivering vir daai jong ouetjies ook. En soos jy sê, jy weet die bank, al het ek hulle laat op die veld gesit. I mean, op die einde was daar 5 forwards wat 22 jaar of jonger was op die veld, twee backs wat 22 jaar of jonger is. Dit beteken daar was 7 spelers op die veld met daai druk. En jy weet die feit dat ons op die laaste kon verloor het, jy weet. En ek dink, jy weet nie om arrogant te wees nie, maar soos ek vir my vrou nou gesê het, ek dink nie ons het ons het genoeg gedoen om die game te wen. Ja, ek dink nie as ons daar verloor het, sou dit regverdig gewees het. Ek dink, jy weet, ek is baie trots soos hulle gespeel het. Ons het nou en dan foute gemaak, hulle terug in die game ingebring. Maar weer eens, ek dink, jy weet, hierdie span het nou 3 weke saam geoefen. Dit was altyd die plan om hulle hierdie games te speel en bietjie kans te gee. En die feit dat hulle nou teen 'n goeie Lyon span 5 punte gekry het op die Heineken Cup. Al is dit tuis, is ongelooflik vir ons.
Follow-up question? Cool. Ashfaq?
Hi, good evening, guys. Congrats, Jake. People, well, not people, I said it's a B team, but I gave them an A+, Jake. Their defensive effort at the end, Jake, remarkable to hold on there. They were coming wave after wave of attack.
Exactly. Ashfaq, I just said, it's funny, that was my talk to them now. I said, obviously I'm very happy about the win. I'm very happy that the way we played in that first 25 minutes, some of the best rugby we've played since we've been together. But the last 5 minutes just showed me a lot. 5 minutes there we defended. I mean, Jan Hendrik went in to touch the hooter, is almost finished. He thought the game was over. Then we lose the line out. Or they win the line out, they get a penalty. Then we defend. We get a kick through from Keegan. All of a sudden they're back on our half again. They get a pop it up, and then we give a high tackle by Similani. We get a play early in the air. As you can imagine, we just made it more and more difficult. But to defend and keep them out for 5 minutes like that, I just think it's a phenomenal effort. And I said, I'm sure you heard Ashfaq, but both locks, one lock's 20, the tight head's 20, the hooker's 21. They're both locks, the other lock's 22. Veerja Steenkamp's 22. Keegan is 22, Bernard's 22. If you look at it, it's just phenomenal that those young guys can do what they did at the end. I mean, that's just going to make them so much better. So yeah, I mean, I'm obviously very proud of the win, but as you quite rightly say, the last 5 minutes showed me a lot about the culture and the understanding of winning at the club like this.
And also that first half, Jake, some wonderful tries there, the interlinking and the offloading tackle. It looked like this team had played almost the whole season together.
Exactly. Ashfaq, I think, it's funny because the thing we did really well in the beginning, we started to become too loose in the end. They would just look at that one opportunity where they chipped the ball over and Steadman got it, unbelievable pick up from the ground. And then he stepped and then he offloaded again straight to the wrong guy. And then we defended again, So, I mean, I'm not knocking him. I'm just showing how, it either comes off or it doesn't come off. In the beginning, it came off. We looked like a, well-oiled team. And at the end, we probably, as I said, if we're really critical, we probably just got too loose. It started to become easy for us to play the ball and run from everywhere. And, it's like typical. It's just inexperience. And it's, it's understanding that you've got to, you don't, because you're up 30 points or whatever, it doesn't mean you've won the game. And I think they realize that now. When you play against good teams, I mean, that's a good team. They're fourth on the log. They've got unbelievable backs there, Ashfaq. I mean, those Fijian boys they got playing for them they're world class. Stand up and offload and they're dangerous. Loose forwards on the edge. So yeah, I mean, again, I'm repeating myself. Obviously, very very proud of the way we played.
Follow up there, Ashfaq. Are you good?
Okay for now, Jan.
Cool. Yanni?
Thank you. Jake, you talk about how much these young guys have learned, How does this impact on the way going forward in this competition? I mean, do
Yeah.
you stick to your plan?
Yeah.
Other players get a run now.
Yeah.
We give these guys another run.
Yeah. Yeah. And so let me answer and say that I think one thing, and again, I'm sure you're aware, but South African rugby players, through my players, only allowed to play 32 games of rugby. Now, that means if you've got a guy play a lot of test rugby, and we're fortunate we don't have too many, but, you take the test matches and then you take, the EPCR, then you take the URC, and then let's not forget, Jan, I mean, I know that I've been saying it since I've got here, but we take the Currie Cup very seriously. And this union sees the Currie Cup as a premier competition in South Africa. So when you do your sums, there's no ways that the same group of players can play Currie Cup, URC, EPCR, and if some of them play test matches, I mean, that means you could get to the back end of a competition where SA Rugby will say you can't play them. So the plan, to answer your question, the plan is I've worked the plan out, and we're going to stick to it. I'm going to stick to it. I think these boys who just beaten Lyon are obviously chomping at the bit to go on tour and play against Exeter next week. So, as I said, I think the plan is clear. The boys have bought into it. I gave them the plan when we came back from the holidays, and at this point in time, barring injuries, obviously, Jan, I'm going to try as much as I can to get two teams that are competitive, and that can obviously win. And as you saw today, I mean, that's a fantastic position to be in as a coach now, because every one of those guys is going to say to me, Coach, I want to play in as many games as I can now. And that's, you look at a guy like Bernard van Linde, I don't like to single guys out, but he was man of the match. Hasn't played rugby for ages. I think the last time he played was, I can't even remember. And I've got Zach, who's played really well, and I've got Ambrose, who's played really well. So, what a nice place to be when you've got players all knocking the door down to play in I don't want to say the A team, but to play in the other team, the team that's probably been the most consistent of what we picked. So, we're in a good place, Jan. Obviously, as you can see, it's a great place to be when you've got people that are competing for the same jersey.
Follow up, Jan?
It's just a follow up. You touched on Exeter. Now we saw today the two home teams won, the away team lost. Hitting the road in Europe, and you're well aware of that.
Yeah,
it's a very different ball game.
100%. But then again, Jan, one of the decisions I made is to allow this group of players to also play at home. I think what tends to happen, some teams, and obviously, they go and they take a team away, and that's probably not fair to that team, because that team arrives in a country, short turnaround. We fly on Tuesday. Again, we fly via Doha, and we end up getting there on Wednesday morning, and you've got to be, and it's -5 degrees. It's freezing cold there, and the whole thing. So, as I said, I think it is different. But geez, what a challenge! I think anyone that's sitting here and in the media didn't give us a chance to win this game. So it's a great opportunity for us to go to Exeter and see how good we are. That's a good team. I'm going to go and watch them now. They're playing Cust. But if you look at their team, they got an incredible team, and they were champions of this tournament 2 years ago, I think. So, they've got some winners in that group as well. So it'll be an interesting check for us to see whether we're good enough to play away from home against a good side.
Cool. Thank you.
Thanks,
Cool.
Jan.
Happy, Jan. Lloyd?
No, nothing from me. Thank you.
Cool. All right, go for it, Ashfaq.
Like, we've spoken about travel before. Is this an opportunity for you to maybe send the other team a bit earlier to Exeter?
Yeah, I might have to send them early to Cape Town, because we have to play them in Christmas. So, Ashfaq, there's a lot of games. As I said to you, we got Exeter away, then we got Stormers away, then we got Sharks away, then we got Dragons away. Then we've got Exeter here, then we've got Lyon away, and then we've got Scarlets away. There's not many. There's 2 months of hell for us. We've got 7 games, of which 2 are at home. And as you quite rightly say, the way we fly is we fly via Doha. We don't fly direct to London. We don't fly direct to Cardiff. So, it's something that that's why I think the travel and the experimenting with different teams and different combinations is something coaches have to do. I think not taking anything away from anybody, but at this point in time, some guys took their best sides overseas, didn't win, and that creates pressure as well. So there's no right or wrong, Ashfaq. Some coaches do it like that. I'm just saying from my experience and having been coaching for a while and having coached in France and having coached in the Champions League and the Challenge Cup, you've got to do what you have to do. And sometimes it gets more and more difficult as you get closer to the end of the tournament as well. So it's not going to get any easier. These guys, Lyon, are going to fly back home. Next week they play Saracens at home. I mean, that's the kind of, as I said to you a long time ago, this is like playing a test every single week. So yeah, I mean it's a great challenge for these youngsters, and I'm super proud of them. I'm super proud of as I said to you, 5, 6, 7 under 22 boys running around the field there, experiencing pressure like that and handling it.
Any injury worries, Jake?
Yeah. So Jacques Duplessis, looks like he's fractured his hand, which is obviously a massive loss for us. He's just come back from an Achilles injury. And then Marco van Vuren, he got a bang on his knee. As I said, when he jumped up, I think something with his patella. So I would take it that those two guys probably won't be available to tour. So hopefully, once we do the scans and once we see, hopefully it's not too bad. Hopefully we'll get them back in the next couple of weeks. But again, that's why you have to blood some guys around there, because there's such a tough competition. You're going to lose people. There's going to be attrition all the way through this competition. And at the back end, when you put in the 32 games that they're allowed to play and the injuries you've had, and that's when you're going to have to be counted. And as I said, the Bulls are in a great place now, because if that's the caliber of youngsters we have, then at least I'm not too scared to keep picking them in the group.
Just running, Jake, we speak about the youngsters, but some of the more experienced guys also really put their hand up tonight. Nizamka, Monestein, slotted his kicks.
Yeah, as fact, Nizamka is gold. I mean, he's gold for me. He's got experience at playing in that level. Next week he would have played Exeter many times. Bismarck Duplessis tonight. I mean, just having him there, older senior statesman, was outstanding in that front row. That front row, you got Dylan and Jacques playing at tight head. I thought they scrummed really well. And as you say, Mornay kicked those kicks. It's funny, he missed that penalty, which again, I haven't seen him do that for a long time. Maybe if he'd kicked that penalty, we would have then kept 2 scores ahead all the time and made more pressure for them. But as I said, that's a good team, Ashfaq. That Lyon team's a good team. And when they're on fire, you saw how good they are when they can run from their own half, and they can, they can obviously open up your defense.
Cool. Ashfaq, you happy?
I'm good, thanks.
Cool. Jan, you happy?
Good, thanks.
Carl, you can go for it.
Jake, just an interesting question. I mean, you're splitting the 2 squads, and one squad is practicing in South Africa and the other one is on tour. Are you splitting your coaching staff also?
Yes, I am, Carl. Yeah, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave a couple of coaches back. We train Monday, Tuesday with everyone. And then Tuesday night we fly out to Exeter, and then some coaches will stay behind, keep preparing for the Stormers game, because we'll only have one session, which is Thursday. It'll be a light session in Exeter, and then we play Saturday. So, so I'm going to split my coaches, leave some guys behind, try and keep working on the Stormers game. And obviously leave them a squad of players with some juniors that we have. Obviously we've got some really talented juniors. We've kept some juniors back from their holidays. And we'll be training against them. So it'll be on Monday, Tuesday, we'll probably have 3 teams out there, and then Thursday we'll have 2 teams out there and 1 team that travels to, obviously to Exeter.
Cool. Happiness. Thank you so much, guys.